Welcome to Mexico. Wait, that's not Mexico. There we go, much better. Welcome to Mexico, the home of Baja racing. There are many different races that take place in Mexico. I am here for the Norra 1000. The Norra 1000 is a navigation-based rally raid race. And if that doesn't make any sense to you, that's okay. It didn't make any sense to me either. That's why when my friends told me they were driving from Canada to Mexico to enter the race, I asked if I could tag along and learn what the heck this all meant.
Trying to explain it to people, it's like flying a plane. You have your instruments, you have a cap heading, and it's also like texting and driving at high speed with deadly consequences. Yeah. I'll be driving around and my girlfriend will give me shit for texting while I'm driving. It's like, I got this.
That is the voice of Matt Sutherland. He placed first overall in Norra 1000 this year, and it is safe to say he has a pretty good understanding how this all works.
It's not so much about racing against the other competitors, it's you versus the course. Everyone gets their roadbook in the morning. You have no idea where you're going. And it's like a giant puzzle is handed to you. And it's, you got to go out and figure out this roadbook, and it could take you anywhere. It could be through the mountains, along the beach. You have no idea. So it's the coolest adventure.
To do a race like this, you need to have a roadbook that basically holds your chart, switches that control your roadbook. They call it an ICO, which is basically your odometer that gives you your cap heading, so 0 to 360 degrees. And then each race will use a safety device. Norra 1000 used a Stella that control your waypoints, your speed, and your direction.
The chart is split into 3 columns. The column on the left displays your odometer reading that will match up with your ICO odometer. When your ICO matches the number on your chart, you will know that there is an action that needs to be taken. That's where the middle section comes to play. This is where your directions will be displayed. This will inform you of what upcoming corners, waypoints, or important intersections. It may also indicate dangers or things to be cautious of that will be displayed on the chart with symbols. There are dozens of symbols in rally racing, and you must learn all of them. This section will also display our cap heading from 0 to 360 degrees. This will tell you what direction you should be facing when you have reached the odometer distance mark. You would use this cap heading number to match up with the second ICO you have mounted. The box on the far right side of the chart will give you additional note information. Many times these acronyms will give you further course information. You will want to study up and make sure you know all of these as well. Let's look at a section from Mike's chart. When the number on the left of the chart matches your ICO odometer, there will be an intersection with a stop sign. Your cap heading should read 102 degrees on your secondary ICO, and our far right panel is telling us to follow principal path, or FPP for short. Basically just saying, keep going straight. You get the roadbook at the beginning of the race, right? You can't look at it prior?
No, you can't look at it prior. So the difference with the desert racing, Baja 1000, Baja 500, other score series races, or desert races that are based on GPS, quite often the route's released weeks before. So teams have time to pre-run. They get to memorize the course, they get to practice each section with different riders. The true spirit of the rally raid is the fact that one rider completes the event day after day, and you don't know where you're going. So every morning you're presented with your roll chart, which is essentially your map. That's up to you to load it into your bike and navigate turn by turn, 2 or 3 different notes per kilometer sometimes or more, and get yourself anywhere from 200 to 500 kilometers from the start of each day to the end of each day, turn by turn.
And then there's no traditional GPS device?
There is 0 traditional GPS device. Your GPS is based off your cap heading, off your ICO, or your device on your bike. That's it.
If you make a wrong turn, what happens?
If you make a wrong turn, hopefully you realize you made a wrong turn quickly.
Got turned around over there? I haven't hit this 11.
Okay, so I think we might actually messed up coming out of the dunes there.
Needed a harder right.
Yeah. Before you get really far off course, but eventually your notes in your road book, each turn by turn, is not going to look the same. You may be able to tell yourself in your head that it's going to look the same, but you're going to come to a point in time, something doesn't feel right. This seem right? There's no more tracks. Math isn't adding up. So the key then is to realize you've made a mistake. Be cautious going back the same way you came. Retrace your steps, but get back to the last point that you knew you were. Reset your road book and then continue on.
So, and that's one of the things is rally, you can only race as fast as you can navigate. It's such a stressful sport. You know, it's not just where you're following a GPS or a ribboned course. It's, if you mess up, it's on you, and the consequences can be huge. I got lost in Africa for 2 hours in the middle of nowhere, and I didn't know where I was. But I'll never do it again because I know what I did wrong. So you just got to learn from it. It's not so much about racing against the other competitors, it's you versus the course. Everyone gets their road book in the morning. You have no idea where you're going. And it's like a giant puzzle is handed to you. And it's, you know, you got to go out and figure out this road book, and it could take you anywhere. It could be through the mountains, along the beach. You have no idea. So it's the coolest adventure.
This is a trophy truck, and it should be considered both a risk and a danger. A few sections of this race use the same track for all classes. If you're not fast enough, the trucks will catch up.
Unfortunately, I now know what it feels like to have a trophy truck pass me. I chose to run a mirror for this entire race. I'd flip it in and out. This particular section, my mirror was flipped out. My Stella's device triggered. It confused me because it's a proximity alarm. And I'm like, oh, no big deal. Just another bike. Look in my mirror, see a wall of dust, and they were cruising. Again, I was very fortunate. I was able to put my head down, not eat too many rocks or dust, and it was flat and smooth. A lot of the bikes, we can get up to 130, 150 kilometers an hour. We have to slow down on some of the rocky stuff. They can still do 120 or 130. They're on 40-inch tires, 600, 800 horse, depends which vehicle it is. These guys know what they're doing. It's not their first rodeo. So for the rest of the race, that was my motivation as well. Stay ahead of the trucks.
There's always that fear. It's like you got the bike tapped out on a road that's just wide enough for a car through a cactus field, and you're doing, 140 to 160, and there's cows. It's like if something steps out, it's good night.
Yeah, he got knocked out. He hit a rock.
Yeah. Last day, 60 kilometers from the finish, and I just came around a corner. I didn't even see it, but I just had my foot out a little bit, and I must have just hit a rock. The guy behind me, Neil, saw it, and it completely twisted my left leg 90 degrees, and sort of back behind me, and I could hear the tendons, and I could hear that kind of sound, and then my whole leg went numb. I got lightheaded. I felt like I was going to throw up, and I thought my leg was broken at that point. Once again, I was leading too, right? So you don't want to stop, and I had 60 kilometers to go, so I just sat down the rest of the way. You got to risk it if you want the biscuit, but sometimes it'll get to me, and I'll just slow down a bit and just be like, no, this is not today.
One danger that is often less talked about is dehydration. Even while editing this video, a racer competing in the Eco Race Africa had passed away from dehydration in the desert. Heat and dehydration is a serious factor and must be taken seriously.
Mexico, it's hot.
Hot! Can you open the vents?
There's no question about it. This year is quite warm, but you need to start hydrating 3-4 days before. So basically drink as much water as you can, keep your salt intake up, because you're just going to sweat. And once you start to get dehydrated, it's tough to get that back. They did have first aid tents. People did get IVs. I got an IV myself on the 3rd day. It sure helped balance everything back out. Felt a lot better and was able to finish in good condition without too much cramping or exhaustion. Because that's a big one too, is you start getting dehydrated, tired, your mind plays tricks on you, you're frustrated from the course, you're away from home, you feel lost, everything's stacking against you.
Everything in the desert is an asshole. There's a reason it's alive. So you'll come around a corner and you know, you'll just go to brush by some shrubs or something overhanging the course, and everything is just covered in prickles or rock solid. So if I could give some advice for riding in the desert, don't touch anything because it hurts.
You're on your own. Start your stage. It's up to you.
There's a few ways you can run a rally race when it comes to race support. Mike had his friends, including myself, run chase support. We had a fully equipped truck, trailer with spare parts and fuel. We had a driver for the truck, a mechanic and a medic, and one freeloading camera guy. The chase vehicles are supplied their own, much simpler roadbook to navigate. This took us to all the places where we had to meet the bike and supply them with fuel and emergency baby wipes.
Wipe for the face?
Yes, please. Your safety device, your Stella, is going to track you. The organization knows where you are. Stella did a great job having family and friends be able to track through their live link, so my chase team could see where I was. I personally couldn't see where I was. They'll give you a fuel range. Quite often, you need to have a minimum of 100 to 150 kilometer fuel range, and you need to make that transfer to get there. There will be no race officials there unless there is a dangerous road crossing or point of concern.
Running chase was a lot more involved than any of us had expected. The chase vehicles definitely end up on an adventure all their own. If your friends and family aren't as excited by the idea of chasing around the desert with gallons of fuel and baby wipes, well, you can hire people to carry your equipment from stage to stage. This would be the most common thing that I saw rally racers doing. There's also supply companies that will bring fuel from stage to stage for you. There's even a mobile welding and fab crew that can help you weld your frame back together, just in case you snap your trike in half. However you want to show up to rally, there will always be support options there to get you through every day. Even if it's just a random person handing you mysterious fluid and then running away. So if you've made it through this far in the video and you're like me and you're starting to think this sounds pretty interesting, but maybe you're not as keen on your first attempt at rally being a 2,000 kilometer 5-day race across an arid wasteland, well, there's some other options to get you started.
Alright, sweetheart!
Hi!
Are you ready to do it?
Yes, ma'am.
The cheapest and easiest way to give it a try is going to be with RideNorthMoto.com. It's $50 and lets you build out your own road books and then view them on your phone, or you can print them out and throw them into a roll chart. You could literally make a road book to your local grocery store, send it to a buddy, and see if he can find his way. Multiple people I spoke to at Norra 1000 recommended using Rally Navigator, including Matt Sutherland, so go check it out. There are also many rally schools and weekend events to help you get a taste of rally without such a massive commitment. You should probably follow along with this channel now because I want to start trying this rally stuff out for myself and bring you guys along. There's a lot to this sport, so if there's anything I missed, leave a nice friendly comment down below and let's start a conversation about rally. These videos take a lot of time, so if you've enjoyed it, leave a like, subscribe to see more. Thanks again for watching.